You ever feel like your mind is this vast ocean of thoughts and feelings, but when you try to explain them to someone, it's like trying to catch water with a fork. It just doesn't work. You can you can stab at it, but it's not going to happen. I've tried. That mental traffic jam, that inability to like get it out isn't a flaw. It's actually showing you something really incredible about how your INFP mind works. It's like, that moment when someone asks you, "What are you thinking? How do you feel about this?" And suddenly this whole like rich inner world, all these thoughts and ideas and feelings turns into this game of charades or like Pictionary, and you're trying to explain. It's just, as an INFP myself, I've been there. I'm still there. It happens all the time, right? But here's the cool thing. We're not actually bad at communicating. We're experiencing something that maybe you could call like depth to surface translation loss. Our introverted feeling, the soul, it's a judging function that is assessing values, and specifically it's introverted. So it's our own personal values and what is important to us and what degree of importance is that? How do we feel about it? It's not necessarily emotions, but it's assessing those emotions. And, because emotions are a key data point of, is something important? If somebody gets angry, you've likely stepped on a value that is important to them, right? So we see emotions as important. And so we're processing this in such a deep, like interconnected way that like regular language feels like trying to describe a 4D experience with 2D words. Or like, to explain that in another way, it's like, okay, you got this video game that you're really into. And explaining that to someone by sharing snapshots and screenshots, pictures of it, is not going to convey the whole thing. It's not going to convey the 4D experience of your relationship to the NPCs, and your heart starts pounding when you see the enemy ride up on their mount. The sounds, the music, the feeling of being immersed in all these quests in the world. A picture does not convey that. The music is not conveyed in a simple 2D way. We're literally thinking about how we think, or feeling about how we feel. And that's not necessarily overthinking or overfeeling. Just think of it as like a richness of experience. Instead of fighting this experience, let's work with it. Work with your personality type. Don't fight it. I know it's a hard lesson for most of us. We feel that we're broken, that we can't do all these things, and so we need to fix ourselves. But things get a lot better when you work with your personality type as opposed to against it. And so here's what's happening within us and how to navigate it. First, understand that introverted feeling, the soul, plus extroverted intuition, the explorer, this combination, let me explain extroverted intuition a little bit. It's a perceiving function. It's pattern recognition. It's intuition. It's not necessarily about the sensory world. It's springboarding off of that. What are the ideas that this thing brings to mind? It's this fast-paced pinging of our brain through all these different regions, trying to find new and novel connections. And that combination, the soul and the explorer, is this amazing ability to perceive subtle nuances and connections that other people almost always miss. So again, you're not overthinking, you're not overfeeling, you're just doing it in a way that is not very common to most other people, at least to the degree that we do it. Everybody experiences all of these cognitive functions, but we have preferences for certain ones. And the challenge comes when we try to translate this rich internal experience through extroverted thinking, through the commander, through logic, through introverted thinking. It's like trying to download a movie with a dial-up connection. If you're young enough to remember those. Young enough? If you're old enough to remember those. I'm still young. But here's the really cool thing is like the desire to transfer that pure understanding to be truly gotten without judgment, it's not just an INFP dream. That's actually pointing to something that is a gift for our personality type, the desire for authentic connection. And that frustration that you feel of not being able to communicate what's going on inside of you, especially at the depths that we feel it, shows that you value genuine understanding. And you want other people to be gotten just like you want to be gotten. So here's how you can bridge the gap between your inner world and your outer expression. And it's going to take some time. It takes practice, and you will not always be able to communicate everything that's going on because you yourself likely do not fully understand everything that's going on inside. But you can improve. So start with feelings first and details second. Use metaphors, use analogies. They carry more meaning than just one nominalization, one word. A nominalization is a noun that you cannot put in a wheelbarrow, no matter how big the wheelbarrow is. It's an intangible noun. Confidence, love, curiosity, excitement, power. Those are nominalizations. And we cannot communicate those in the same way because what dignity means to me is not the same as you. So using analogies and using Russell Brunson's "it's kind of like" bridge will really help you out. Yeah, I'm feeling this thing. It's kind of like I've got this seeping ooze going through my body, and it's like a heavy, dark tar. If they don't get it, that's okay. You did your best. Yeah. But using what works, and that worked how you communicated it before, maybe you can give it a name, you can define it, and you can refine your explanation of it for the next time that it comes up. Give yourself permission to express partially as well. Not everything needs a perfect translation, even though we would want that. And not everything needs to be explained in its entirety. I know as INFPs, we can get excited about it and say, oh, well, actually, maybe they need to know this too, and this too, and this. And we start to like glob on all these different things. And it becomes very difficult to understand and explain. But find your natural way of expressing it, whether it's writing, art, music, movement, interpretive dance, something that works for you. And do more of what works. And all of us in the comments section would like to know more of what has worked for you to express this complex inner world. Share what metaphor best describes your thought process, your feeling process, and let's create this like dictionary of INFP inner experiences together. But also, we can marvel at how another person's experience is still different than our own. My metaphor for introverted feeling might not be the same as yours. My understanding of my inner world might not be the same, but I reckon that they share a lot.